Have you ever felt like your day just slipped away, as if you were constantly racing against time? You wake up in the morning, rush through breakfast, rush to work, and then spend the whole day running between emails, messages, deadlines, and endless meetings. In the evening you come back home, your body is exhausted, but your mind is still spinning, unable to truly rest. Modern society celebrates busyness. We often take pride in saying that our schedule is packed, that we are good at multitasking, that every minute is being used to do something. But behind that shiny surface of productivity, have you ever wondered, does being busy really mean living fully? Many of us realize that we are always doing, yet we forget how to simply be. We are doing tasks, making plans, creating to-do lists, chasing goals, but we rarely pause. We rarely allow ourselves to be fully present in the moment. And when this continues for too long, the result is burnout, anxiety, sleepless nights, and sometimes even a deep emptiness inside. Research shows something striking. Almost 47% of our waking hours are spent with our mind wandering. That means we are often thinking about something else, instead of focusing on what we are actually doing. Even more interesting, the same study shows that when our mind wanders, we are usually less happy. In other words, happiness is strongly connected with being present in the now. Let's do a small test. Do you clearly remember the taste of your breakfast this morning, or did you eat quickly while scrolling on your phone or answering emails? Do you remember the last time you walked outside and actually noticed the breeze, the sunlight, the sound of birds? Or were your feet just moving automatically while your mind was already planning the next task? If these questions make you realize that you rarely live in the present moment, you are not alone. This is the reality for so many people today. Here is the good news. To change this, you do not need to quit everything, fly to a mountain, and meditate for hours. Of course, long retreats and deep practices have value, but in our modern lifestyle, not everyone can do that. The truth is, even very small moments, if you live them fully, are enough to bring back joy, energy, and balance. This is what we call micro-mindfulness. Instead of expecting yourself to meditate for 1 full hour, you just need short pauses, maybe only 30 seconds. Yes, even 30 seconds can make a difference, if you are truly present. Think of it this way. All day long, you are like a smartphone running too many apps at once. The battery drains quickly, the device heats up, and performance slows down. If you wait until night to recharge, maybe your phone will already shut down before then. But if you recharge for a few short minutes during the day, the phone will last much longer. Human beings are the same. Micro-mindfulness is like a quick charger for your mind and your emotions. So why do we find it so hard to pause? Maybe because our inner voice keeps saying, I don't have time, or just a few seconds will not matter, or I have to finish this first before I can rest. But think about it. If you have 30 seconds to check a notification, you also have 30 seconds to take a deep breath. If you have 1 minute to scroll a feed without purpose, you also have 1 minute to close your eyes and notice your body. What matters is not the length of the practice, but the presence you bring into it. Just as 1 ray of sunlight is enough to light up a dark room, 1 mindful moment is enough to bring calm, to remind you that you are not only a working machine, you are a living being. In the next parts of this journey, we will go deeper. Why do such short mindful pauses have real power? How does neuroscience explain it? And most importantly, how can you apply these tiny habits in your daily life in a simple and practical way? But before moving on, let's try something right now. If you can, pause for a moment. Place your feet firmly on the ground. Take a slow, deep breath in. Exhale gently. That is all. In this very simple act, you have just given yourself the gift of presence. Why can such short pauses of mindfulness bring such a big change? At first it sounds too simple to be true. Just a few breaths, just a short pause, and yet it can refresh your mind. But modern neuroscience has begun to explain why this works. Our brain is not a machine that runs endlessly without rest. It is more like a network of lights. When one network is on, another network turns off. For example, when you focus deeply on a task, the brain area for problem solving is active. But when you stop for a moment, another system called the default mode network begins to light up. This network is connected with creativity, self-reflection, and emotional processing. By shifting back and forth, your brain stays balanced. If you keep working without pause, your problem-solving network becomes overloaded. It is like pushing the accelerator without ever touching the brake. At first, the car moves fast, but soon the engine overheats. Short mindful pauses are like gently tapping the brake. They allow your brain to reset, to cool down, and to restore balance. Another interesting fact, research shows that even 1 mindful breath can reduce the activity of the amygdala. The amygdala is the part of your brain that triggers fear, stress, and fight-or-flight reactions. By calming this small but powerful area, mindfulness helps your whole nervous system relax. Your heart slows down, your muscles release tension, your mind feels safer. And here is something even more inspiring. These effects are not only temporary. If you practice short mindfulness moments many times a day, your brain begins to change physically. Scientists call this neuroplasticity. The more you practice pausing, the stronger your brain circuits for calm, focus, and joy become. Imagine building a new walking path in a forest. At first, the path is narrow and covered with plants, but if you walk on it every day, it becomes clear and easy to travel. Mindfulness works in the same way. Now let us clear up one big misunderstanding. Many people believe that mindfulness only counts if you sit cross-legged for 1 hour, with incense and complete silence. Of course, that can be wonderful, but you do not need such conditions to enjoy the benefits. You do not need to be a monk or a meditation expert. You just need to be willing to pause. Think of it like drinking water. To stay alive, your body needs water many times a day. You do not drink one huge tank of water once a week. Instead, you take small sips many times. Micro-mindfulness is like giving your mind small sips of clarity, many times a day. Here is where the idea of anchors of joy becomes helpful. An anchor of joy is a simple, small, intentional pause that brings you back to the present. It can be attached to daily activities that you already do. For example, every time you open a door, you can take a slow breath. Every time you wash your hands, you can notice the temperature of the water. Every time you take a sip of coffee or tea, you can slow down for 1 second to enjoy the taste. The secret is not about adding something extra. It is about turning normal moments into mindful moments. You already brush your teeth. You already wait for your computer to start. You already stand in line at the store. Each of these ordinary situations can become an anchor of joy if you pause and notice. Imagine this picture. You are standing at a bus stop. Usually you might pull out your phone, scroll without awareness, and lose yourself in noise. But what if, just for 10 seconds, you notice the clouds above you, the air on your skin, the rhythm of your breathing? Suddenly the moment is no longer empty. It becomes alive. You are alive. When you begin to use anchors of joy, something subtle but powerful happens. Your day no longer feels like one long race. It becomes a series of small islands of presence. Each island gives you energy, like stepping stones across a river. By the time you reach evening, you are less exhausted, because you have charged yourself throughout the day. Let us try one right now. If you are listening or reading, choose something near you, maybe a cup, a pen, or your own hands. Pause, look at it carefully. Notice the color, the shape, the details. Take one breath while looking. That is all. Congratulations, you just practiced a micro-mindfulness anchor. The more you practice, the more natural it becomes. At first you might forget. That is normal. Do not criticize yourself. Just begin again. Mindfulness is not about being perfect. It is about coming back, again and again, with kindness. In later parts, we will share specific techniques you can use as your daily micro-mindfulness medicine. But before we move on, remember this truth. You do not need to escape your busy life to find joy. Joy can be found right here, in the smallest pause, in the simplest breath, in the most ordinary action. Because joy is not something you chase. Joy is something you notice. And the key to noticing is presence. Now that we understand why short moments of mindfulness are powerful, let us explore how to practice them in daily life. You do not need complex rituals. You do not need special equipment. You only need small, clear habits that can be repeated many times a day. Think of them as your daily medicine for joy. The first practice is called the 3-breath reset. It is as simple as it sounds. Wherever you are, whatever you are doing, pause and take 3 conscious breaths. Inhale slowly. Exhale gently. Repeat 3 times. That is all. But here is the key. These are not ordinary automatic breaths. These are breaths with awareness. You notice the air entering your nose. You notice your chest rising. You notice your body softening as you exhale. By the time you finish 3 breaths, your nervous system has already begun to calm. Why 3 breaths? Because 3 is short enough that you cannot say, I do not have time. But 3 is long enough to shift your state. Imagine being in a stressful meeting. Your mind is racing. Your heart is fast. Your muscles are tight. Taking 3 conscious breaths gives you a chance to reset. You return to the moment with more clarity. Try it right now. Inhale deeply, exhale slowly, again and once more. Notice how your body feels. This is a micro practice that you can carry anywhere at your desk, in your car, before sending a difficult email. Even in the middle of a conversation, you can breathe gently and no one will know. It is invisible medicine. The second practice is the sensory check. This uses your 5 senses as anchors to the present. Often stress pulls us into the future or past, but the senses only exist now. By connecting with them, you return to now. Here is how you do it. Pause for a moment. Ask yourself, what is one thing I can see right now? Maybe the color of the wall, maybe the shape of a plant. Then ask, what is one thing I can hear? Perhaps the hum of a fan or distant traffic. Next, what can I smell? It may be faint, but even noticing neutral smells grounds you. Then, what can I feel with touch? The texture of your clothing, the surface under your hand. Finally, what taste is in your mouth? Maybe coffee, tea, or just the freshness of saliva. This simple check can take less than 1 minute, but it breaks the chain of automatic stress. It pulls you out of your head and back into your body. Many people find this especially helpful when anxiety rises. Instead of being lost in thoughts, you root yourself in reality. The third practice is called the gratitude glance. Gratitude is one of the fastest ways to shift your mood, but you do not need to write a long journal every night. A micro-mindfulness version is enough. Here is how it works. At any moment, pause and think. What is one small thing I am grateful for right now? It does not have to be big. Maybe the fact that you can breathe. Maybe the smile of someone near you. Maybe the taste of your tea. Maybe the sunlight through the window. Hold this thought for just a few seconds. Feel the warmth in your chest as you recognize it, then continue your day. This is the gratitude glance. Just like glancing at something beautiful for a moment, it does not take time, but it nourishes your heart. Science supports this. Research shows that practicing gratitude, even briefly, increases dopamine and serotonin. These are the chemicals of joy and calm. Your brain literally lights up with positive energy. Over time, the habit of gratitude changes how you see life. You notice more good and less stress. Now, imagine combining these three micro-practices: the 3-breath reset, the sensory check, the gratitude glance. Each takes less than 1 minute, but together they create powerful islands of calm in your busy day. Picture this scenario. You wake up in the morning. Before reaching for your phone, you take 3 conscious breaths. Later, while drinking coffee, you notice the warmth, the smell, the taste. That is a sensory check. Before leaving home, you glance outside and feel grateful for the fresh air. That is a gratitude glance. In less than 5 minutes, your day has already been filled with mindfulness, and as the day continues, you repeat these small pauses, waiting for your computer to load, standing in line, walking to the bathroom. Each moment becomes a chance to reset. At first, it might feel unusual. You might even forget. That is normal, but do not be discouraged. Micro-practices are like seeds. The more you plant, the more they grow, and soon they become natural, like brushing your teeth. You no longer need to remind yourself, they simply happen. The beauty of these practices is their flexibility. You do not need to follow strict rules. You can adapt them to your own style. Maybe you prefer 5 breaths instead of 3. Maybe you like focusing on touch instead of smell. Maybe your gratitude glance happens at night instead of morning. That is fine. The purpose is not perfection. The purpose is presence. Another tip is to connect these micro-practices to specific triggers. For example, every time you check your phone, take 3 breaths first. Every time you open a door, do a quick sensory check. Every time you drink water, think of one thing you are grateful for. By linking them to existing actions, you build automatic habits. Over time, these habits create a powerful shift. Your day no longer feels like a blur of tasks. It becomes a flow of mindful pauses. Each pause nourishes your health. Each pause protects your energy. Each pause reminds you that joy is available here and now. So, as you move forward, experiment with these 3 practices. The 3-breath reset, the sensory check, the gratitude glance. They are simple. They are short, but they are strong. Strong enough to change the rhythm of your day. Strong enough to protect your well-being. Strong enough to cultivate joy. Now that you know the basic micro-practices, the next step is weaving them naturally into your daily life. It is one thing to practice once. It is another thing to make it part of your routine. The difference is important. When mindfulness becomes part of your routine, you no longer struggle to remember. It flows with your day like breathing. One powerful method is called habit stacking. The idea is simple. You attach a new mindful habit to an old habit that you already do every day. This way you do not need extra time or energy. The new habit rides on the back of the old one. For example, every morning you brush your teeth. While brushing, you can also take 3 conscious breaths. That is stacking. Every time you boil water for tea or coffee, you can pause and do a sensory check. Notice the sound of the kettle, the steam rising, the smell of coffee. That is stacking. The key is to connect mindfulness to actions that already exist in your schedule. Opening your laptop, washing your hands, unlocking your phone, waiting at a traffic light. Each one can be a trigger for a micro. When you repeat this again and again, the association becomes automatic. Soon, every routine action becomes a gateway to presence. The second method is what I call the 1-minute joy journal. Many people hear about journaling and imagine writing pages every night. That feels heavy, and most people give up. But you do not need pages. You only need 1 minute. Here is how it works. At some point during the day, pause and write down one positive moment. Just one. It could be something small. A kind message from a friend, the taste of your lunch, a laugh you shared. Write a few words, not long sentences, just enough to remember. Why does this matter? Because when you write, you reinforce memory. The brain encodes that moment more deeply. Instead of disappearing in the rush of the day, the moment stays with you. Later, when you read your notes, you feel joy again. 1 minute of writing creates many minutes of happiness. Some people like to keep a small notebook. Others use the Notes app on their phone. Choose what feels easy. The goal is not perfection. The goal is capturing a spark of joy before it fades. Over weeks and months, these sparks accumulate. You look back and see hundreds of small, bright points. Together, they light up your life. The third method is using gentle reminders. Technology often distracts us, but technology can also support us if we use it wisely. A simple phone alarm can become your mindfulness bell. Set it to ring 3 times a day. When you hear it, stop and take 3 conscious breaths. Some people like using sticky notes. Place one on your computer screen that says breathe. Place another on the bathroom mirror that says pause. These gentle reminders break automatic patterns. They invite you back to the present. If you prefer digital tools, there are apps designed for this. Apps that send a small notification like "Notice your body" or "What are you grateful for right now?" The message takes only seconds to read, but it changes the flow of your mind. The secret is to keep reminders gentle, not harsh. Do not treat them as orders. Treat them as invitations. If you are busy and cannot pause, it is okay. Simply notice the reminder and smile. Sometimes awareness alone is enough. Now, imagine combining these 3 strategies. Habit stacking, 1-minute journaling, gentle reminders. Together they create a strong network, a network that holds you, even on stressful days. Picture this scenario. In the morning, you brush your teeth and stack it with a gratitude glance. Later, while waiting for your coffee, you do a sensory check. At lunch, you quickly note one positive moment in your phone. In the afternoon, your reminder bell rings and you take 3 breaths. In the evening, you wash your hands and pause for a moment of presence. Each action is tiny, but when woven together, they form a web of mindfulness across your entire day. Instead of being lost in stress, you are constantly brought back to joy. Another benefit of weaving joy into routines is resilience. Life will always bring challenges, stressful emails, unexpected traffic, arguments with people you love. You cannot control these things, but you can control your response. And when mindfulness is woven into your day, your response is calmer, clearer, kinder. Think of it like building a safety net. Without practice, stress can knock you down, but with daily micro practices you bounce back faster. The net catches you. You feel the impact, but you do not break. This is how long-term resilience grows. Some people ask, what if I forget? The answer is simple. You will forget. Everyone does. Do not turn forgetting into failure. Instead, treat remembering as success. Every time you remember to pause, celebrate it. Even if you remember only once a day, that is progress. Over time, once becomes twice, twice becomes many. Progress is gradual but powerful. It is also important to bring playfulness into these routines. If mindfulness feels like a chore, you will resist it. But if it feels light and joyful, you will return naturally. Smile as you breathe. Laugh when you forget. Enjoy the process. Remember, the goal is not to become a perfect monk. The goal is to live with more joy. Let me share a simple trick. Choose a small object to be your joy anchor. Maybe a stone, maybe a bracelet, maybe a keychain. Every time you see or touch it, pause for a breath. Over time, this object becomes charged with presence. Just holding it can calm you. This is another way of weaving joy into life. So, in summary, there are 3 main strategies. Stack new habits onto old habits. Capture joy with 1-minute journaling. Use gentle reminders to bring you back. Each is simple, each is short, but together they are strong. Strong enough to change your daily rhythm. Strong enough to help you live with presence. Strong enough to fill your days with small sparks of joy. When we practice micro-mindfulness daily, something beautiful happens. The benefits do not stop with you. They ripple outward, touching the people around you. Think of a drop of water falling into a pond. The ripples spread in all directions. Your calm breath, your mindful pause, your smile, they all create ripples. Others feel it, often without knowing why. Imagine this. You are in a stressful meeting. Instead of reacting with anger, you pause. You take 3 conscious breaths. You respond with clarity. Your tone is calmer. Your words are softer. Suddenly the whole atmosphere shifts. Others mirror your energy. Conflict decreases. Understanding increases. This is the ripple effect. At home, the same thing happens. When you come home tired but choose to pause and notice one thing you are grateful for, your mood shifts. Your partner, your children, your friends, they sense it. The evening feels lighter. A single small act changes the emotional climate for everyone. This is why micro-mindfulness is powerful. It does not only transform your inner world, it transforms your relationships. People feel safer around you. They feel more seen, more valued. Your presence becomes a gift. Over time, the ripple effect grows into resilience. Resilience is the ability to recover from challenges, not avoiding them, not pretending they do not exist, but meeting them with strength and balance. Research shows that people who practice mindfulness, even in microdoses, recover faster from stress. Their heart rate slows more quickly. Their emotions stabilize more quickly. Their decisions are more thoughtful. This is not magic. It is training. Every small pause trains the brain to return to balance. And resilience spreads, too. When you handle stress with calmness, others learn from you. Children watch how you respond. Colleagues notice how you breathe before reacting. Friends see how you stay grounded. Slowly they begin to mirror these habits. Your practice becomes a model, but perhaps the most important long-term benefit is joy itself. Not the temporary excitement of buying something new, not the rush of external success, but a deeper joy that grows from presence. Joy from feeling the sunlight on your face. Joy from truly tasting your morning coffee. Joy from listening fully when someone speaks. These are simple things, yet when lived with awareness, they shine brighter than many achievements. Now, some of you may feel ready to go further. Micro-practices are powerful, but they are only the beginning. If you wish, you can explore deeper mindfulness methods, longer meditation sessions, mindful walking, mindful eating, silent retreats. The good news is you do not need to rush. Start small. Build the foundation with micro-practices. When you feel curious, take one step deeper. Maybe try a 10-minute meditation once a week. Maybe join a mindfulness class. Maybe read a book or listen to a podcast on the subject. Think of it like learning music. First you play simple notes. Later you play songs. Eventually you may play symphonies. But without the simple notes, nothing else is possible. Micro-mindfulness gives you those notes. It gives you rhythm, attention, presence. Another step is community. Practicing alone is good. Practicing with others is even better. Find a friend who also wants to try share your experiences, encourage each other, or join a group, online or in person. When you practice together, motivation grows, joy multiplies. Remember, the journey is not about perfection. It is about connection. Connection with yourself, connection with others, connection with life. Every mindful breath brings you closer. So, what is the next step for you? It is simple. Choose one practice, just one. Do not try to do everything at once. Maybe you choose 3 conscious breaths before opening your laptop. Maybe you choose 1-minute journaling at lunch. Maybe you choose a gentle reminder on your phone. Whatever you choose, start today, not tomorrow, not next week. Today, take the first step. Then, notice how you feel. Notice the ripple effect. Share your experience with someone. By sharing, you strengthen the practice. Let me leave you with an invitation. Imagine yourself 1 year from now. Imagine you have practiced one micro-mindful habit every day. Just one. Over 365 days. That is 365 small pauses. 365 sparks of joy. 365 ripples sent into the world. How would your life feel? How would your relationships feel? How would your health feel? The answer is within you, and it begins with the smallest step. One breath, one pause, one spark of joy. So I invite you, right now, to take a slow breath. Feel the air moving in. Feel it moving out. Smile gently. This is your beginning. Carry it forward. Share it. Live it, because joy is not far away. Joy is here. Joy is in this breath. Joy is in this moment. And with each mindful pause, you nurture it. You grow it. You let it flow into the world.